I'm going to do something I haven't done all year in 2020. I've got a personal rule I've used all year where um, I only talk about a football game once I've watched it. And it's kind of silly because it's getting in the way of, I think, making good content. People are getting really frustrated with me. They're like, you haven't talked about this game at all. It's Thursday. And people don't like when I wait until Thursday to finally get to talking about a game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to react to every final score from Sunday and Monday of week 13. But I want to be honest. I just want to tell you, I haven't watched every single game this week yet. These are kind of my impressions before I watch the games. But I want to get something out about every game before the week gets on too late so people aren't mad at me like, how could you wait until this point to talk about it? Because I watch every single game every single week. That's a lot of football. It usually takes me until around Thursday to get through every single game of the week. And so far this week, I've watched the Browns-Titans game. I watched the Seahawks-Giants game in its entirety. I watched the end of the Raiders-Jets game, that weird game where we'll talk about it in a minute. I watched every Chargers offensive snap against New England. I skipped through and watched all 6 turnovers of the Jaguars and Vikings game. I watched every snap of Jalen Hurts against the Packers. And I saw the very end of the Lions and Bears game. Other than that, I haven't seen anything else. I've watched a couple snippets and highlights. I don't really count that. So I haven't seen everything from the whole week. But I want to react to what happened on Sunday and Monday. But I also don't want to pretend like I did watch it, and I don't want to mislead you guys. So, I watch every game of the week. Again, it takes days and days to do. And some of the stuff you'll hear me say, I'm excited to watch that. Here's what happened, I'm surprised at what happened or this or that. Let's just jump in. The Lions beat the Bears 34-30. And, it actually does seem like Mitchell Trubisky had a very, very solid game where I don't know, going into the fourth quarter, I went, you know what? The Bears, they're leading. They're doing pretty well. And then at the end of the fourth quarter, Mitchell Trubisky, of course, he Trubisky'd it where it's kind of insane. The Bears had the ball 3rd and 4 on their own 17-yard line. They had a 3-point lead. There's 1 minute and 54 seconds left. And Mitchell Trubisky somehow fumbled the ball, gave the ball back to the Lions, set up a 1st and goal on the 7-yard line for Detroit. 2 plays later, Detroit scored. They win the game. And it's just so bad. I told you, I refuse to believe in a team led by Mitchell Trubisky. This is why. This is exactly. Unfortunately, Trubisky is unable to prove his doubters wrong. He had a costly mistake at the end of the game, handed the game over to the Lions, and it's just kind of insane how bad this was. He handed the game to the Lions. It's kind of crazy to me. I just go, man, of course Mitchell Trubisky made that critical mistake at the end of the game. The Saints beat the Falcons. I got this game wrong. I did pick the Falcons to win. I was actually really close. I mean, I was sitting at home. I guess I was driving back from my grandma's house going, oh, maybe it's going to work. And my girlfriend's driving. I'm sitting in the passenger seat. And I'm like, man, the Falcons have the ball. End of the fourth quarter. And the Falcons did. They had an opportunity at the end of the fourth quarter, a chance to take the lead. But Atlanta couldn't score. They were driving. They had an 11-play, 65-yard drive. It ended on a 4th and 9 with 1.5 minutes left. And so the Falcons did lose the game, I think 21-16. And Taysom Hill had 2 touchdown passes for the Saints. That's pretty cool. I'm excited to watch that game. I want to see how Taysom Hill does. And a lot of people are saying maybe Taysom Hill is the guy long term. And they say he proved it in this game. We'll find out. I'll watch later this week. The Dolphins beat the Bengals 19-7. Looks like Tua had a great game. I'm excited to watch that. I just feel bad for Cincinnati. Their quarterback, Joe Burrow, is hurt, and they are just they're a gimped football team right now. Now, the Raiders beat the Jets 31-20. The Raiders won on a crazy touchdown pass to Henry Ruggs with 5 seconds left. And I got to say, I have no idea why the Jets were running, man coverage with no help on Henry Ruggs. Like, where's the Hail Mary defense? There's the ball is snapped with 13 seconds left. Don't you know the Raiders are going to throw the ball to the end zone? It made no sense to me. And the very next day, the Jets fired their defensive coordinator, Greg Williams. I got to say, though, for a couple things. First of all, I was surprised it took a Hail Mary for the Raiders to beat the Jets. That's ridiculous. That should never happen. The Raiders are a team I thought was doing very well. Then they got crushed by Atlanta. They barely beat the Jets. What is going on? I want to watch that game to see what's happening with the Raiders right now. And then also with the Jets, honestly, people were furious. Like, how could we blow this game? The Jets fans were like, how could we do this? How could we give up a touchdown with 5 seconds left? And I understand the heat of the moment. You're upset and frustrated. Like, you finally thought you were going to win a game. But take a deep breath. Step back away from the situation and recognize that losing this game helps you. The Jets do not want to win a game. Going 0-16 at this point is good for New York because it helps them get the number 1 overall pick. So, weird game. I can't believe it took a Hail Mary for the Raiders to beat the Jets, but losing does help the Jets. Same with the Jaguars. The Jaguars lost in overtime. The Jaguars lost 27-24 to the Vikings, and it was an ugly game. There were 6 total turnovers. Kirk Cousins had a pick 6. Mike Glennon, the Jaguars quarterback, had 3 turnovers. He had a costly interception in overtime that led to the game-winning field goal by Minnesota. And as I was watching this game, I was watching on my phone the box score and there's a little people moving back and forth, the little stick figures or whatever, and you watch the ball move. And I guess as I watched the score flip to Minnesota winning in overtime, I sat there and thought, man, that's still good for the Jaguars. Like, it helps you get Justin Fields and have potentially the number 2 overall pick. Like, the Jaguars are another team. They don't want to win. Winning hurts them. It gives you a worse draft pick. So, and what you really don't want to have happen is have Cincinnati get the number 2 overall pick, and then they trade it away to another team, and another team gets your quarterback you want. So the Jaguars cannot afford to screw around. I know that the coaching staff is working hard to win and keep their jobs, but the Jaguars do not want to win a game the rest of the year. They want to try to get that number 2 overall pick, if not maybe the number 1 overall pick. So winning is good, or losing is good for the Jaguars and the Jets right now. And if you're a Jaguars or Jets fan, you're actually hoping every week you lose the game. And that's exactly what happened to the Jets and the Jaguars this week. Washington beat the Steelers 23-17 last night on Monday Night Football. I did tell you, I said, look out for the upset. I thought the Steelers were going to win, but I said there's a potential here for Washington to win this game, and they did. Bam, it happened. And so Ron Rivera has done a phenomenal job all year. I watched a little bit of this game as I was preparing the show. I was supposed to record last night. I had a long weekend trip. I ran out of gas. The little I saw, the Raiders' defensive line does such a good job. I mean, they stop the run very, very well. They force people back inside. The edge rushers do on Washington. It looks like Alex Smith had a great game. On my list of games to watch, this is the very next game I'm going to watch. I'm excited to watch Washington at the Steelers and see what happened. Kansas City beat the Broncos 22-16. Denver actually had the lead late in the third quarter. Like I went, man, this was a competitive game. And what I really can't wait to see is Broncos and Chiefs next year when Denver is fully healthy and has all their people back in place and all their players back. I want to see Denver be able to continue to challenge Kansas City and maybe even beat them next year when Denver's back at full strength after COVID and after their injuries and people are back healthy. The Colts beat the Texans 26-20. This looks like this game is really exactly what I predicted it to be. Deshaun Watson fought very hard. He made it close, but in the end, the Colts were a better team and they won the game. Now the Rams beat the Cardinals 38-28. The Rams are now 8-4. Arizona is now 6-6. And look, coaching matters. Sean McVay is simply a better coach than Cliff Kingsbury. And I know it's 2020. I know things are weird with COVID and everything. But after 13 games, I really did have higher expectations for Arizona. I thought they'd be better than 6-6 at this point in the year. And I think a lot of that has to fall on the coach because Kyler's been playing great. They got new players on defense. Where does the fault have to go? It's got to go on the coach. And you can't have that many weapons and have that good of a quarterback and new additions on defense and not have the record that they're 6-6. They should be much better. And I like Cliff Kingsbury. It's only year 2. I know it's weird. I have patience for Cliff, but feels like he got outcoached what I saw of the Rams-Cardinals game on Sunday. The Bills beat the 49ers. I cannot wait to watch this game. It was Monday Night Football last night. Josh Allen was 32 for 40 passing, had 375 yards, 4 total touchdowns. The Bills won 34-24. The Bills are 9-3. I guess maybe Josh Allen had a rushing touchdown. I haven't watched the game. I don't know. I know he had 4 touchdown passes, and I go, that's got to be awesome. I can't wait to watch that game and see how Josh Allen did. Again, the Bills are 9-3. That's a huge deal. The Patriots beat the Chargers 45-0. Ugh, awful. I watched every offensive snap for LA in this game. Justin Herbert had 2 interceptions. And I want to point out, man, if LA does fire their head coach, Anthony Lynn, it's so important that they get it right with their next head coach. They have to get their next head coach right because this is a very, very delicate thing. You have a crazy, talented young quarterback, Justin Herbert, and what you can't do is get the wrong guy in there and mess up his progress. I watched RG3 play football last Wednesday in that Ravens against Steelers game. And remember, RG3 at one point won the Rookie of the Year award. People thought he is going to be the franchise guy in Washington. It's going to be amazing. Well, he got hurt. Coaches got fired. He fell off a cliff. And RG3 is now a bad quarterback. He is not what he needs to be. And he never progressed. He never really got better. And so I don't know how that could possibly happen to Justin Herbert. I think he throws the ball better. He's a bigger athlete. He's not really injury prone. Like, I don't see how Justin Herbert doesn't succeed in the NFL at this point. He's really, really good. But it is possible that if you get on the wrong coach and things go poorly, that things could go wrong. I mean, I guess I'll just point out, despite how well Justin's done and all his skill sets and everything he's got going for him, he's also not safe. I mean, we've seen in the past people win Rookie of the Year, which Justin is likely to win this year, and then follow it up with not a great career. So I would be wary. Justin needs to keep getting good coaching. And they need to help him keep making progress as a quarterback. And so I think the unsung hero of Justin Herbert's rookie year is his quarterback coach, Pep Hamilton. He's a former XFL head coach. Pep Hamilton is doing really, really well. And I know people want to fire Anthony Lynn. But Anthony Lynn wouldn't be the only person fired. If you fire Anthony Lynn, you fire the entire staff because the new coach is going to come in. And it's not quite fair to force him to hire other people. He's going to hire his own staff. And I just would tell you, I don't know that I would want to mess up the chemistry right now with Pep Hamilton and Justin Herbert. What they're doing in the film room, the progress they're making, I wouldn't want to fire that guy. And so I would be very, very careful. If you fire Anthony Lynn, you better get it right with the next coach or else you're going to hurt your franchise quarterback and not get him the coaching and help him make the progress that he needs to make moving forward. Now, there are 3 more games I want to talk about. I've already done big topics about these. The Giants beat Seattle 17-12. I walked away going, wow, I am really impressed with the Giants head coach, Joe Judge. He's done a great job. The Packers beat the Eagles 30-16. Jalen Hurts played quarterback for Philly for most of the second half. He brought a spark that was much needed in Philadelphia, played very well. He's going to be the starter next week again in New Orleans. And then the Browns beat the Titans 41-35. The Browns were up 38-7 at halftime, and Baker Mayfield was nearly flawless. So there's one more game left in Week 13. It'll be later today. The Ravens play the Cowboys. It should be very interesting. But I walked away going, man, Week 13 had so much good football across the board. And I think that the game I'm most excited to watch, either the Monday night games looked really, really good. We had the 49ers Bills looked great, and then I want to watch that Washington Steelers game. Going to be a lot of fun. A couple good games I want to watch. I want to watch what happened with Kyler Murray. A lot of stuff ahead, but I hope you enjoyed. It's my first time ever doing a segment like that all year where I talk about games I haven't watched in their entirety yet. And I hope that that's enough insight to carry people over until I get back to the games later in the week and do deeper analysis of each game. But that's what I have to say just generally about what's happened so far in NFL Week 13.